and welcome to our, dare I say it, 2025 bullet journal setup video. It's going to have to run a little bit different to normal because my printer has run out of coloured ink, so I can't print the template right now for you, but I wanted to video this whilst we still have the daylight, and I'll pop the template in at a later date. So let's have a look. Well, first of all, let's look at what we're going to need. We're using watercolours for today's tutorial. So we're going to need watercolours, and we're also going to need a mix of paintbrushes. You're going to want round tip, quite wide, and a narrow one for detailing. I'm actually using a, let's have a look, a number 6, I think that is. So that is my main brush that I'm using because we're going to be doing watercolour washes. So you want it to be fairly big, but enough so that you can control the movement. I'm also using a Tombow pen in black, and we've also got Tombow fine liner in 0.1. Now, you can use any fine liner, but I really like the Tombow one, so that's what we're working on, and we'll need that. I'll show you because we've got some detailing. Oh, just skipped ahead there. So this is what we're going to be creating. We've got a rainbow colour wash, obviously our large 2025, and then this detailing, floral detailing, and then we've also got our goals page, just a little bit of detail there, and we're leaving a blank page for our vision board. This will make more sense because our next video coming is going to be our vision board creation video, and what I normally do is I create a large board and then I take a photograph of it and I make it small and I pop it here just so I've got a quick reference where my vision's going. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm back with the templates. I've had to video this after because my printer ran out of ink. So here is your template for 2025. So you've got the watercolour background with the print and the fine line drawings if you wanted to do those, and then your goals page and space for your vision. So we just have the titling and the year on that page. Okay, so we are on my sketch journal and I've got a page open. You want to kind of make this flat so that it sits open, and then we're going in. I've chosen some darker colours. I don't know if it's going to work, but I want to make this one a little bit more galaxy-ish if I can. So I've got some rainbow colours on my palette. It's not a very good palette. I really should treat myself to a paint palette because I keep using, sorry about that noise, that's the dog drinking water. We're actually looking after a friend's dog, so you never hear my dog bark, but you might hear a dog barking. So I'm going on here with just a bit of water, and I'm going to put the kind of greeny hues. We're going to have to work quite quick. Actually, I've decided to go purple. So there we go. I'm just dotting that on towards the end there. We'll just do whatever colours happen. No right or wrong, as I always say. And this paper is not watercolour paper, so we're just taking it sparingly and doing what we can. Okay, so I'm starting with that purple colour, and maybe then we go a bit pink. So like I say, you're going to have to work quicker, and it's quite good because it becomes quite organic if you're working quickly. You don't have time to overthink it because we don't want the water to dry. We want to put the paint on when the water's wet, so we get that kind of blurriness. It's where that galaxy kind of blurriness comes in. And we're just blending that in. And I want a bit more pink. There we go, just fading that out and pushing it out to the edges. Just give it that. It'll all make sense. It'll all make sense. Oh guys, it's just been so crazy mad busy here. And the next video is going to be your vision board tutorial because now we're just rolling on, aren't we? We're like rocking through the year. It's just all a bit too much. My little brain is struggling to keep up with everything that needs doing. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Just blurring this in a bit, blending it in, taking it up, Don't know why, but I quite liked that blue. Oh, we've gone darker blue. It doesn't matter. It's going to be totally different. And I think that's good as well, because I want you to see, like, it doesn't matter what you do. It really doesn't. We just have to work quickly so the paint stays wet. And also I'm looking over here thinking, actually, I've run out of, it's not as dark as it could be, is it, over there? Let's push a bit of purple in there. And you want it to kind of blur out to the ends as well. So I'm going to take a drier brush. So a bit of water on, but I'm pulling it off just so I can push that paint. I'm not putting any extra paint on, that's just the paint that was there. And I'm using a wet brush, not too heavy wet, just to push it in. You get the idea. It's building, we're getting somewhere, aren't we? Let's go for a little bit of green in the middle here, I think. So we're starting with our wet brush, pushing that in, and I'm blending it into, let's go a bit brighter. Let's see what, is that too bright? No, that's all right. Does it work? I don't know. I don't know. Green and blue work? Yeah, they do. Too much paint, but that's fine. We're just going to push it around. So green, look, is going to be my center focus. And we're just going to keep pushing it to the center, and then it's going on to my next page. So I want green to go over here, because what I'm going to do is mirror that onto this page. Let's go for a bit more paint. I wanted it was very wispy in my original journal page. I feel like this has gone a bit darker, but that's fine. Kind of like it. And you can do whatever you want. Like I said, there's never any rules to this. Does it feel like that? Does it feel like I have a plan when you watch these? Sometimes there's more of a plan than other days. This is very freehand, so I like that it's freer. There's no, other than I'm mirroring it, but to be honest, you don't even need to do that. You wouldn't even need to mirror it at all. You can do whatever pleases you. Just dotting that into where I've put the wet paint on, blending it out, blending it in. And then we're going to go into purple at the end there. So let's get our purple ready, spreading it around. I need to mix a bit more purple. Oh, that's gone quite dark. Now I need to blend that out, don't I? Because that has gone quite dark and it doesn't match. So let's take some of that purple. And again, with a drier brush, you can almost suck up, see that? Suck up some of that paint. You don't need to worry if you make a mistake. We're currently just working with my youngest, who is struggling with a bit of perfectionism, not being able to do things to the level he wants to do that. And I think it's really important that we realise that you can always change, you can always, nothing is set in stone, you can always fix things, you know. And especially running your own business, I worry, there's no one else, you know, it's just me. And I worry, like, what's if I do something wrong? What's if I make a mistake? And I'm always reminding myself, like, everybody makes mistakes and it's how you fix it that sets you apart. So how you fix it is, in this instance, we just take off a bit of paint. Sometimes, you know, life isn't as straightforward as that. Unfortunately, it might take a little bit more than just take a bit of paint off, but you know, there's always a solution, there's always a way around things. Okay, it's a very wet page, as you can see, so we're gonna leave this to dry. If you want, you can go blow dry it with a hairdryer. That will give you a bit of a speed up. Okay, so we're back. And you can see my page has gone a little bit bumpy because it isn't watercolour paper, but you don't need to worry about that because actually your journal is going to be closed and you can leave it underneath the stack of heavy books or something, and within time that's going to straighten out. So it's going to be a well-used journal, so we don't need to worry about it. So the next thing we're going to do is add in our title 2025, and I'm going to be sketching it out as I would normally with my template, which I can't show you because I don't have it. But you can print out your 2025 titling, and then you can trace it through and then use your pen to pen it in. Or you could cut it out and you could stick it on if you wanted it to be a little bit 3D. You could totally do that. Or you might find that you've got some letters from somewhere. You might have got a stencil maybe that you could use. You can use anything you wish. You can be quite creative with this. I'm going to trace through. So imagine this is colour. It's obviously not. Oh, the printer cartridge is due today, but I just, because it was, not that it was it's not sunny, but it's not. Been so grey, it's been so difficult to film anything or take any decent photographs for Instagram. So because it was light this morning, I just wanted to get this video done. So as you can see, I'm just tracing through. This is going to give us the base we need. Now the floral bits, that's a bit tricky. They are quite time consuming. I will definitely be speeding up the video for that bit. But as you can see, really faint. Can you even, every time I do this, I'm like, you can't even see it, can you? It's a little outline where my 2025 is going. So I'm using the Tombow, and I'm gonna just use the felt edge just to outline, because I can control it a lot easier. But when we come, I mean, you could leave it, actually, it could look quite cool just with the outline. See what you think. Let's have a look. I'm going to do the outline first anyway, just because I can control the nib better, and then we'll use the brush side to fill in. But like I say, you might want to leave it just as outline, because I think that could look pretty cool too. But having it contrasted with the pastels is really nice, but you could just as well do darker kind of, I think the original template's quite dark. I can't remember what I used on the design program that I build them in. I think the colours might have been darker than they eventually came out. So there's 2025, like I said, you can leave it as you are, as that. Or using the brush side, I'm just going to fill in that detail. And maybe this is as much as you want to do. Maybe you don't want to do the delicate florals. I might show you an easier way, because actually some of those florals are a little bit tricky. But as with all of my templates, you've got them, you can trace them, and you can just go by that, or we can just figure out what we're better at. And we're quite good at doing leaves by now, I feel. So I wonder if we just do a bit of a botanical version rather than adding the florals in. I might show you that one. But you can do whatever you want. So the whole idea, what I wanted for 2025 is, I wanted a bit of a hopeful theme. Like when I start doing the journal themes, it's always done to, at the minute, it's what works for me. I always say to you, I would love your input. If there's any themes you want me to cover, so any designs you've seen that you wanted to do a version of, let me know, because it's really hard. I think we're on our 3rd year of videos. So, that's a lot of ideas. I'm exhausting the idea bucket list. So let me know. But my idea for 2025 was, I wanted it to be hopeful. Like, I really feel positive. I don't know if you've had a good 2024. Mine has been really up and down. Lots of really difficult decisions, lots of changes for us as a family. My youngest started secondary school and he's been struggling recently, and my husband's job is changing, and obviously if you follow lifestyle planners, we've had a bit of a change on lifestyle planners. I'm no longer doing the day planner, but you know, I've relaunched the agenda, so that's all changed. It's just been such a transforming year, I think, 2024, and it's been difficult to navigate. And I just feel that 2025 is just so hopeful, and how we can build on everything and just make it better. That's what so that was this month's theme, was hope. And I think the kind of watercolour, and I've put in some kind of star details and the florals. It was just giving me that vibe. So there we go, coloured in my 2025. So now we're going to add in the florals, and as I said, the florals are quite tricky, so let's just do some really simple leaf shapes, because I know you guys can do these. Let's zoom in. Again, you can follow the template if you want to trace it and make it easier for yourself. But let's just start by building our botanical details. So I'm just going to have a leaf. Okay, I'm going to start like this. Let me zoom in. I'm using my fine liner pen, and I've done a line, really straightforward, and I'm making that into a leaf. I think you can do that. In fact, I know you can do that. Come on, come with me, let's keep going. And we're going to then grow another leaf and do that. See? Are we building? Yes, we are. When I say my youngest is struggling with, he's anxious, he struggles with anxiety, and his kind of trigger word at the minute is I can't. And we've been working on saying I can, and that's what I want you to say. If you're thinking I can't do that, I want you to say I can do that, because look, I'm just showing you how to do it. And this one's going to have another. We're doing exactly the same thing. How about we try a stick here with just a circle on the end, and add some other sticks with circles on coming off it. How about that? Yeah, you can do that. We just did it, just like that. We're growing our little pattern here. How about we do just a simple leaf like that? And how about we give it that? And we could even do some detailing like that if you wanted. Why not? And then what else could we do? We do a lot of those like lavender style, don't we? Do you remember how to do those? We're starting with a line, and we're going to do a little, I call them bow ties either side. Can you see that? Should we zoom in even closer so I show you how easy it is? And as we go down, our bow ties just get a little bit bigger all the way down. All the way until we get, also it's a bit fern, that's actually a bit fern leaf kind of shape, isn't it? I do like a fern. Let's keep going till we get, I've got a bit lazy there, I was rushing. Okay, so there we go. And if we zoom out, oh, that's in, we're getting there. Look how you can build it. Now, it's going to take a while for me to fill in everywhere that we're going, so I will have to speed it up. But up to you if you want to use some botanical leafy shapes, or if you want to follow my actual floral design. I mean, should we attempt to do a little flower peeking out the side? Look, let me zoom in again. So I'm going to just do a petal shape. So if you can imagine, what would it be? Like a kind of, almost like a letter D. Just like a letter D. And say this was the end. You just want to put, I don't know, don't even know, just a little detail. And then this would have maybe some pollen stems coming out. And then if we wanted, we can mirror that under there. What kind of shape would you say that was? I don't know. Like an hourglassy type base shape. Look, you just did a flower. That's what you just did. You just did that. Easy. So there we go. That is our 2025 cover page. So let's move on to where we're going to set up our goals. So again, don't worry if this paper is a little bit bumpy, because as we go through the year, that is definitely going to straighten out. And all we're going to need is similar colours for our top section here. So I'm just putting water onto the brush there, and again dropping in the colour and just using the water to blend that around. And same thing with this, we're going to need the colour to dry before we can work into it. So we're just going to pop what we need on there. Let's go for that. Oh, it's very purple. We're not going to worry about it, are we guys? Because we're going to take some of that paint off by using a drier brush just to take some of the pigment off. And we'll blend it in. That one's going to be more purple, and that's okay. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. It can blend into blue, which can then blend into some green. There we go. So we need that to dry off. And then we're going to come back in and add our titling for goals. Whilst we're waiting for that. Oh, it's all bleeding. That's fine. I want it to. I want it to be messy. Whilst we're waiting for that to dry, I'm going to do my title on this side. I'm going to use my Tombow fine liner side, and I'm just going to put in the word vision and then leave a space, and I'm just going to add the year down here. 2025, guys, that's what we're doing. Okay, so that's ready, and when this is dry I can add in my goals titling to go there. And now this section is dry, I'm going to go in, I'm going to use my brush side of the pen to do the 20. Let's do 20. I think I need a new Tombow black because it's getting a little bit split at the end. I need to get some new pens. And then I'm using my fibre tip for the goals type. It's gone a bit wavy, but there we go. And then sometimes what I like to do is to get another pen in a lighter colour. I've gone for like a peachy pink here, and just draw out some lines and that's ready for me to write in my goals for the year. I just follow the dotted grid for these lines like every other line, and that is my 2025 goals page. And you can see this one's turned out quite a bit different because I've gone and added the purples, and that's quite pastel-y. So you've got that option to go whatever colours. You can do your favourite colours, you can do a rainbow, you can do a galaxy, and if you want you can go back in and we can add in some, maybe if you want to add in a gold pen. Oh, I've got a gold pen. Does this work? I don't know. You could add in some like starry details if you wanted, or if you've got a white Sakura, like a white gel pen. I think that's what I did on my original, is with a white gel pen I added in some kind of starry details. Let's do it on the purple because it might show up a bit more. Dropping in some stars. And let me tell you, my page in my bullet journal was like this yesterday, and I closed it and I left it underneath my laptop overnight, and look how much better the paper has got. It's really flattened out, so don't worry about it bowing. But obviously if you have a watercolour paper, then you can work into it much more. Okay, that's our goals set up for 2025. Let's go and set some goals. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.